Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Pino. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon. How's your day going?
Amazingly well, thank you. And
Awesome.
yours?
Awesome. It's going well. It's going well. Yeah, and it's
Oh,
Friday, so
it is
break for the
indeed.
weekend. So a little recharge the batteries, right?
Amazing, yes.
Yeah. Sheila, we met actually at the Access conference back in I think it was March.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yeah. So and I think at that time I can't remember, but where you wrote this book called Hired.
Yes, I did. So I wrote that book. So yeah, we met at the Access conference. That the book that you held up is actually the second edition.
Okay.
Uh, the first edition was published in 2016. The
Okay.
full title is Hired: How to Get the Zippy Gig Insider Secrets from a Top Recruiter. Had I
Okay.
known how many times I would say that title in the last number of years, I would have left
Yeah.
it at Hired, but it
Right.
is what it is. So I wrote the first book in 2016.
Yeah.
Second edition, I wrote in 6 days. I don't recommend writing a
Wow.
book in 6 days, but I
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
So I wrote in 2022 because a lot
Yeah.
changed from 2016
Yeah.
to 22. So I
Yeah.
wrote five new chapters, expanded the content, and
Yeah.
it was released in the spring of 22 and
Yeah.
hit Amazon bestseller in 3 hours, which I was
Really? Oh,
really,
wow.
yeah.
So obviously there's a demand for this content, right?
Yeah, there absolutely is. Absolutely.
Yeah. What in so the book obviously talks about, all things job searching, right? Right, soup to nuts, A to Z, all things, right from, getting a phone screen, right to negotiating an offer letter to social media. So it covers,
Yeah,
so if you are a job seeker right now, you're watching this video, it's a great book. And again, it's as we mentioned before, it's an easy read. It's easy to read and easy to get through, which makes it great for readers, right?
absolutely. When you're searching for a job, the last thing you want to do is open a textbook kind of book in a fine
Yeah.
font. So as we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, I'm a fan of some really fun quotes in 48 fonts and pictures.
Yep.
And then the resume formula that I wrote about in the book. I
Yep.
have a recruitment firm based here in Calgary called Tag Recruitment.
Yep.
After interviewing hundreds and hundreds of amazing candidates, who were amazing, but they were hiding behind a resume that wasn't great.
Right.
And the type of resume I'm not a fan of, and it makes searching for a job harder and it makes interviews even harder, is
Yeah.
the type of resume that's filled with one or two or three pages of bullets describing functional job duties.
Right.
Everybody does a resume that way, but it does nothing to make you a standout. So I started coaching to this formula 15 years ago in my recruitment firm, and job seekers would come back to me and ask, where's the book with this amazing formula? Because
Yeah.
it worked. I got a job and I want to tell all my friends about it. And so
Yeah.
I would joke and say, okay, the writing the book is on my to-do list. So it finally
Okay.
came out in 16. And
Yeah.
you're right, it's written in a really easy formula, really
Yeah.
easy to understand. It's
Yeah.
conversational.
Right.
Uh, but this formula, it works whether you are a brand new job seeker right out of college or university, or
Yeah.
if you're a senior executive.
Yeah.
So in my one-on-one coaching, I've coached all the way to a senior level, and this formula works. So don't let the pictures in the 48 font fool you. The
Yeah.
content is applicable for all career levels.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree with you. Where did the inspiration to write the book? Where did that come from?
Well, I wrote about that actually in my second book, which is this one, the Mentors book. So I
Okay.
wrote about in the Mentors book, I explained that my first ambition when I was a little kid, it wasn't to be a recruiter or a staffing firm owner, it was
Yeah.
to be an author. So my
Oh,
little kid goal was to be an author.
right.
So I had made attempts at writing this book for the previous decade before
Yeah.
writing in 2016. And then I had a big milestone birthday coming up, and nothing like those milestone
Oh,
birthdays to make
yes.
you say, let's get this done.
Yeah.
So hired an editor, did my
Yeah.
first book, and
Yeah.
yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah. And yeah, so that check that off your bucket list, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then
Awesome.
my editor said to me, after the first book was published, she said, "You know, this isn't your last book." And I said, "That is madness. This
Yeah.
one book and one book only. Now
Yeah.
we're at four. So four
What
books in.
okay, so this is what's this one? Where do we rank this
That
one? Is this
That one is number three.
three
That
or
one is
four?
number three.
Nice.
Yes. So
Okay.
then I have the mentors book.
Yeah.
And then I published the second book in Ukrainian,
Oh,
just to help when the war
yeah.
broke, and
Yeah.
I mean, all of the wars are terrible, but I just
Yeah.
thought, and so many Ukrainians were coming to Canada. I
Yeah.
thought, if I could help to make their land in Canada and
Yeah.
finding a new career
Yeah.
easier,
Yeah.
then great, my job is done.
Smart.
So yeah, I
Yeah, that's
published
great.
that. That was number 4.
That's smart. Okay. Um, so there's a lot of content in this book. What would you say, maybe, can you narrow down maybe your top, maybe 3 or 4 tips for job surgery, for looking for work? Are there maybe your top 2 or 3?
It starts with the resume. I am so
Okay.
passionate about the formula that I wrote about in my book, because the formula is really simple,
Yeah.
but it gets behind how, sure, I want to know what is or was your job.
Hmm.
More importantly, I want to know how well you performed.
Yeah.
So I encourage job seekers to get their results on their resume, because ultimately that's what a hiring manager is hiring.
Yeah.
How well have you performed in the past?
Yeah.
Now, we all know behavioral based interviews try to get it past performance, but they largely don't.
Yeah.
Unless you're dealing with a really, really experienced interviewer, they
Yeah.
tend to not get to what we're after.
Yeah.
So what I coach to is talk all about your results, all
Yeah.
about the
Your
results on your
achievements.
resume. And then your achievements, you're right.
Yeah.
And then that makes interviews so easy,
Yeah.
because the biggest aha, this is my home office. When I was sitting here
Yeah.
in about this time in 2015,
Yeah.
writing the first version,
Yeah.
I had a big cup of coffee on a Saturday morning and I was ready to write the interview chapter. And so I sat
Yeah.
here and I wrote interview chapter. And then I thought, why do job seekers find interviews so difficult when they're
Yeah.
so easy? Here
Yeah.
was the big aha.
Yeah.
When we as recruiters or hiring managers are
Yeah.
asking about each position, we're actually looking for the answer to 5 questions, but we don't ask them. No one does. So what a hiring manager is looking for when they say, tell me about your most recent job, what they're looking for is the answer to 5 questions. What level did you report to by title? Briefly, what is or was your job? What's your scope or territory? How many other people did exactly the same job? And then tell me, where were you successful? So ironically, those are the 5 questions in my resume formula.
Okay.
So if a job seeker writes their resume answering those 5 questions, and I teach that step by step,
Yeah.
well, guess what? You walk into an interview and the hiring manager says, great, tell me about your most recent job.
Yeah.
Well, you've got all the answers to the test.
Yeah.
Then in the book, what I also share is how you to go about doing an interview prep, so that you as the job seeker walk in so incredibly confident that
Yeah.
you will ace that interview.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah. And you
No
know what I like
question.
about too, you talk about the resume, it's the first thing that employers see,
Yes.
right? So the resume is the first part of the recruitment stage. When you're looking for work, it starts, I agree with you, with the resume. So I love that. What are some other things you can share with us?
Oh my goodness. So how much time do we
I know
have?
we can be
Like,
here for hours. What are your thoughts on, so I'm big on, I mean, when I talk to candidates, I share with them, like, be visible on platforms like LinkedIn,
oh,
like,
a
share,
hundred.
comment daily on LinkedIn, create videos if you can. What are your thoughts on something like that, if someone's looking for work?
Absolutely. That's a really good point. I wrote a full new chapter on specifically social media, but with the
Yeah.
target of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Your LinkedIn profile needs to match your resume.
Yeah.
You need to be visible. And I always joke with job seekers, don't lock down your profile. I want
Yeah.
to know what your phone number is. I need to know what your
Yeah.
email address is. Be
Yeah. I agree.
visible. Be
Yeah.
be visible. Be
Yeah.
on the job board. So that's
Yeah.
a big part.
Yeah.
And I also say to job seekers, make it easy for recruiters to find you. And so,
Yeah.
keep an open profile, use the
Yeah.
open for work banner.
Yeah.
All of those things count.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Keep a
Yeah.
log of all of the jobs that you're applying on,
Yeah.
because again, print or do a screenshot of the job description, because
Yeah.
when it comes time for the interview, that job posting may be down. So you don't want to walk into an interview and say, now what job was this again?
Yes.
So want
That's a good
to
point.
really make sure that
Yeah,
you're keeping a good log.
yeah,
And it's a daily activity. You need to
yeah,
be out there. And it is, I talk about the numbers,
yeah.
just the sheer number of resumes that go out there.
It's
I also wrote it in that chapter, how to work with recruiters. And people, and you and I both know this, that
yeah,
people think that our job is to find them work. And it's not. Of course, as we know, our
yeah,
business clients, our corporate clients hire us to
yeah,
find the amazing person for their job.
yeah.
So people that have amazing experiences with recruiters, it just so happens that we have the job that matches their skill qualifications
Right.
and they're the right match for the job.
Yeah,
So people always ask me that question. How do
yeah,
you get on a recruiter's radar? Well, apply on a job that they're working on.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
an engineer and I never place an engineer in engineering, well, you're
yeah.
never going to hear from me. So that's the fastest way. Apply on jobs that they're working on.
Yeah, I always say when I work with candidates as well to connect if you're in engineering or if you're in HR, accounting, finance, connect with the recruiters in that space. They're going to
Yes.
connect you. They may connect you to your next opportunity, right? And build trust with them, have conversations with them, because
Yeah.
when companies downsize or restructure and you're looking for work, that recruiter is going to be ready to help you, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. A hundred
yeah.
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you talked about social media. Are employers, it's 2024, are employers still checking out candidates' profile before they
Yeah.
bring them in or during the interview process? Is that still happening?
It should be not,
Yeah.
certainly there will be employers that will miss that stage, but it
Yeah.
is really important. I used a quote in the book that
Yeah.
94% of hiring managers will check out a candidate's social media platform, and
Right.
55% have reconsidered based on what they find. So I also coach candidates, make sure it's clean, like
Yeah.
dig. Doesn't happen often, but I have
Yeah.
had offers rescinded based on
Yeah.
what after some digging, what they
Yeah.
find.
Now, but doesn't it create an unconscious bias?
Well, sure, absolutely, but it's all,
Yeah.
we live in a world where everything is open
Yeah.
and open to be Googled. So yeah, if
Yeah.
in one, yeah, you just have to be very careful of
Yeah.
what you're posting, because
Just
that's
on
the
that,
world we live in.
yeah, actually, on that note, really quickly, years ago, I was working with a client. This would have back in 08, 09, and the candidate called me and said, just finished my interview with such and such company,
Yeah.
but I'm going to decline. Why? I said, why? They want to bring you back for another interview. She goes, no, well, I actually Googled them. I looked at their Facebook profile, and she was declining working with that organization because of what she saw on her because she had an open Facebook profile. So I think it's a two-way street. I think
A
organizations are
hundred,
looking at applicants and applicants are looking also at organizations websites and social media presence to make a decision whether they want to move forward or not. So it's a two-way street.
it really is.
Yeah,
That's a really important point, it's
yeah,
it does go both ways.
yeah,
I was just doing a keynote last week for hiring managers on how to hire, so that because they're overlooking incredible talent, because job seekers most often have the what I call a rusty resume. So I
yeah,
was teaching hiring managers how to hire. And when we
yeah,
talked about social media, I
yeah,
said, you need to look, but you also need to know the candidate is looking at your profile as well.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
Two-way street.
very important.
Two-way street. Sheila, is hybrid? Are we put the brakes on hybrid? Are we going back to 5 days a week? I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, the market that I'm in, there's still a desire for larger organizations, particularly downtown Calgary, where I am,
Yeah,
uh, a hybrid. So it's usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in
yeah,
office, Monday, Friday work from home. But
yeah,
a lot of organizations have said, you know what, our employees can be, we've proven that
yeah,
people can be productive and still do meaningful work working
yeah,
fully remote. So
yeah,
I think some organizations are not going back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a mix. I'm seeing some
yeah,
organizations like doing a 4 day work model, and then for the most part, I'm seeing a 3 and 2,
yes, yeah,
a
that
three
is,
and two.
I think that's going to be the new norm.
Yeah,
I think it's a very rare company that will be a 5 days a
a
week
five
in
day.
office.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think to retain talent and to attract talent, you're
Uh-huh.
going to have to offer that, right?
Absolutely.
So you're going to
Yeah,
have to
a
offer
hundred
it.
percent.
Um,
Yeah.
we can talk hours on recruitment. This is a great conversation. I love talking about this stuff. But if anyone wants to get the book, where is it? Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon, yeah. So
Okay.
Amazon, make sure you get the second edition, which you're holding up. And it's
Yep.
the one with the first edition is still there. Second edition, that's the one with the big giant ball next to my head. So second
Okay.
edition, published 22. It's print and Kindle, and
Yep.
all of the books are on Amazon.
Perfect. Perfect. And
Yeah.
Sheila, if anyone is watching this right now, wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can reach me through either of my websites, so sheilamusgrove.com,
Yep.
or through my corporate website, which is hideseekfind.com.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, of course, Instagram, you can find me everywhere.
You're easy to get in touch with.
Yeah, just Google Sheila Musgrove and you'll find me.
And you find, and the name of the agency, I don't, you mentioned it. You're in Calgary now. You're based in Calgary. What is your focus? What's your niche?
Yeah, sure. My company is Tag Recruitment Group.
Yeah.
We are a generalist firm. We
Yeah.
tend to, at the moment, we have a heavy presence in industrial staffing.
Yeah.
On the other side, we also are doing a lot of work in sales and office administration. So
Okay.
every day is a new day, as you know,
A
in
little bit
staffing.
of everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
And last
indeed.
question, we'll wrap this up
Yeah.
because I know you have to go. What's generally the labor market out in Alberta right now? What are you guys experiencing?
Yeah, again, it's always still a demand for that top tier of talent. I think
Yeah.
no matter what industry, our
Yeah.
clients, of course, are looking for us to find the most amazing people. So on
Yeah.
the professional side, it's always tapped.
Yeah.
From the more entry level, there tends to be a lot of opportunity,
Yeah.
but again, it changes, it ebbs and flows, but
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
fun market to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It's things that it depends on the market. In terms of Ontario, it's been a little quiet, I guess, for the last 12 months, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping we're heading to better more activity in the new year. So fingers crossed. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Agreed.
Sheila, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. And again, if anyone's watching this, reach out to Sheila on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Thanks so much,
Awesome.
Pino. I
Awesome.
appreciate you. Take
Awesome.
care.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, bye
Bye.
now.